Hi guys, and welcome back to Prosys OPC's YouTube channel. I'm Ivo, and in today's tutorial we'll connect Forge to LDAP, manage user access and create new users. I'll show you just how simple it is to control permissions and organize access to your data with Forge. Let's dive in. User management is part of the core features of Forge, so we don't need to activate any new modules, but we can start straight away from the user management view, which can be found under the advanced menu. In this tutorial, we will go through first how to connect to the LDAP authentication provider. Then we are going to restrict the global permissions so that users without any specific permissions won't get too much access to Forge data. And then we are going to create a new user group with the more wide permissions. And finally, we will create 2 new users to Forge. So let's start with the providers, and I will create new provider. I select the LDAP and I call this now Prosys LDAP, and then I will fill in the LDAP settings right here and finally press add when I'm ready. I will continue to the global permissions view where I have these default permissions in this table, and I will disable mainly all the edit options. So I will leave the read permissions, but all these write permissions I will delete or disable, and then I will save these settings. Then we can continue to create a user group named operator. In this user group view, I will add a new group. I will name it operator, and then I will expand these default permissions. In this view, I can see there is 3 columns where the first one tells the one that I'm currently inheriting, and then I have the option to override the value, and then I can give the overwritten value. So I will enable this access right here. I will enable all these disabled accesses, all the write accesses, but not for the role permissions, just like that. Yeah, and of course, if you want to make sure that these inherited enabled values will stick the same even though the global permissions are changed, you can of course override them and already select the enabled option too. So whenever the view option is disabled from the global permissions, this group will still have this value enabled. So just like that, I will save that and press add. So now we have a new user group named operator. I haven't done any changes to namespace or node permissions because we don't go that detailed, but you could also specify for specific namespace or node some permissions. Okay, and finally we will create 2 new users. So I will go to the users view. I add a new user. I will select the Prosys LDAP provider. I will add my own account, and I will select that I belong to the operator user group. Then here I could do some changes to my own account, like I can see that I'm inheriting the values from the operator group, but if needed I could do some small changes here for myself. But I will add that user, and then I will also create the local user. Let's say it's gonna be visitor, and then I don't add this user to any group, so I can see that it's inheriting the global permissions right here, and I will add that one too. So now I have 3 users. The admin is the one that is created in the beginning, and as we can see, it overrides all the permissions, so the global permissions won't affect this user. Finally, I will test this new user, so I will log out with my admin account, and first I will log in with this visitor account. As we can see, we have the permissions to open Forge and view it, but we cannot do any editing in here. So I am able to see all the configurations, but I'm not able to do any editing. And if I log in with my LDAP user, which was added to the operator user group, I can see that I'm able to do some changes. So if I want, I can, for example, close this redundancy module and I'm able to do changes, but I'm not able to go to the user permissions. And finally, I will point out that the same user credentials can be used with your OPC UA client application, for example, Prosys OPC browser. So I can log in with this user right here. Then the same permissions are used here with the OPC UA client. That's all for today's Mastering Forge tutorial. We covered all the basics of user management by connecting Forge to LDAP, managing permissions by restricting global access, and granting specific permissions to a user group. Additionally, we learned how to create new users on the Forge server. In the next episode, we will learn to use the Event Mapper feature, which allows you to access data from OPC UA events. Thanks for checking out Forge with us. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more content. We would love to hear your feedback, so drop us a comment below or reach out using the info in the description box. Until next time.